everyone. Okay, so we are live on Facebook, and we're actually live in the page right now rather than being live on the groups because Facebook's changed a couple of its rules. So we're going to be coming live from the page from now on. How is everyone? If you are new here, I'm Nikki, and I help handmakers and crafters make more money in their businesses and sell more products online. So today I want to talk to you about that whole process of going from passion to profit. So looking at the entire process of, starting off making a product, looking at selling that product, and then moving on to actually, making a business out of it, because it's a big jump. And one of the things that keeps coming back to me time and time again from all the people that I speak to is that jump from it being a hobby into a business is a scary jump. It's something that they worry about, and something that they, at first, when you're just earning a little bit of money from it, you're like, oh, well, it's not a proper business. It's just me making a few bits. So that jump from passion and something that you really enjoy doing, and a lot of people start crafting and creating and making art for their mental health more than anything else. So then moving that into a business feels like you are taking away that joy. But I am here to prove it actually can be still joyous, but you can make a life out of it and you can make your life around it, which can make all the difference in the long run. So from my background, where I've come from, I had my first craft business with a jewellery company. I built that up over 4 years and ended up selling that business. And it was a hard slog. This was, 13 years ago. Nearly 14 years ago now, and it was a hard slog. It was a massive learning curve for me, doing the events, doing the markets, doing the stalls, events every single weekend, and then from that going to actually doing it online and selling online. And I'd never looked at a website before. I'd never sort of looked at building a website or anything like that. So building a website, coding a website all by myself, looking at all the different options that were online, learning about online advertising. It was a massive learning curve for me, but I really enjoyed it and I loved what I did. But my circumstances changed, so I decided to sell the business and made it so that it was worth something, and it didn't have my name on it, so I could sell it off and it wasn't directly linked to me, which was brilliant. Skip forward to lockdown, and I had been helping people start up their businesses. I'd been helping people with their marketing, with their online sales. So I felt more confident with what I was doing and how I could teach people all the process that I went through to make their own businesses work for them. I then set up a candle company in lockdown. I had all the time in the world, not a lot of stuff to do. There's only so many TikTok dances you can do with the kids before you need something else to focus on. And I set up a candle company. And what it took me 4 years to achieve in my candle company, I achieved in 12 months, in my jewellery company, I achieved in 12 months in my candle company, and then went over that, when actually just, it skyrocketed. And it was such an experience. I loved every single moment of it. I managed to sell internationally. I did a pop-up in John Lewis, and it was just a different experience. And knowing what to do and having the confidence in the marketing, having the confidence in the SEO, understanding how to do the ads actually made a massive difference for me. And that's one of the reasons why I've gone back to helping people and training people, in giving them the confidence, giving them the tools that they need to move forward and to work in their business to make it an international success. So, we're all here about taking over the world. We're not here to make ourselves small. We're here to literally get our crafts absolutely out there. So when you're at the beginning, and I know for myself, there's so much to do. You sort of start making something and you think, it's pretty good. I quite like doing this. And then you might even go to the point of thinking, oh, well, could I sell this? Like, is this something I can sell? And you start off by maybe doing a few smaller markets or selling to your friends and family. And at that point, you feel like you're just a crafter. I'm just a crafter. I just like making stuff and getting it out to people. And the mindset shift from that to business owner is a big one, but it's a real positive shift. And what I love to encourage people to do is start thinking of yourselves as a creative entrepreneur. So you're not just a crafter, and never ever start any sentence about yourself with the word just, because you're not just anything. The crafts and the art and everything that I've seen from people that I've worked with over the years is just tremendous. There's a woman that I love to work with that makes jewelry, and she's 100 times better than anything I could do. So when she starts sentences with, "Oh, I just make jewelry," no, you don't just make jewelry. You are a jeweler. And getting your head around that and being confident with that, it takes a little bit of time, but there is that whole, fake it till you make it. Start saying it to yourself. Say it to yourself every day. Say it to your friends and family. When people say, "Oh, what do you do?" It's like, "Oh, I do this full time, and actually I'm a jeweler part-time as well." "Oh, okay, what does that work?" "Oh, well, I run my old jewelry business." And start placing yourself in that position, because that makes that jump easier. It makes the jump from passion to profit much easier, because you start thinking of your business like a business. You start thinking of it as an entity in itself. And once you get your head around the fact that you're a creative entrepreneur, it really does make those business steps much easier. So going forward with your business, start talking to yourself and the people around you, your immediate friends, your immediate family, in that positive way. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I'm a jeweler. I'm a potter. I make cards. Whatever it is that you do, I have a card company. Whatever it is that you do, start addressing it in the way that it should be addressed. You're not just a crafter. You are someone that runs a creative business. You are an artist, and you sell your art. Start thinking of yourself like that. It makes the jump much easier. One of the second things I want to talk to you about really is pricing. Pricing, it's a bugbear for me, but pricing is one of these things. Right at the beginning, there is a temptation to price your products particularly low to get sales. And you are doing yourself, your craft, your business, and your future a disjustice. It's an injustice to be able to actually price yourself lower than the market just to get sales. Anyone's gonna pay a fiver for something. When we go to affairs, we go to markets, wherever we go, my kids, I'll give them a fiver. Yeah, that's fine, absolutely. You can buy that one thing, it's a fiver. It's not a considered purchase. And what you do when you downvalue your craft and downvalue your skills is you actually stop the potential growth of your business. If your goal is to make money from this business, if your goal is to make money from your crafts, not necessarily to swap out your wages at this point, not necessarily to go worldwide at this point, but if your goal is to make money, the whole thing about making money is to make a profit. And if you are selling your product for how much it costs without paying yourself, you are not making a profit. If you are not allowing for that profit margin, you're not making any money. All you're doing is you're selling the wares from a really expensive hobby. And it makes a difference when you're looking at growth and when you're looking at what potentially could come from your business. If you're making 20 to 30 pounds on a weekend, it doesn't seem viable. But if you're going to a fair and you're making 150, 200, 300 pounds at a fair, then it makes it viable. Then it's a viable business, obviously depending on what you do. If you're selling one painting for 50 quid, it's not giving that painting value. When you're selling one painting for 200, 300 pounds, that's giving its value. if you're like me, I was selling candles, and I was lucky enough to, at every single event I went to, I sold out of these candles. So I managed to get my branding on point. I managed to get my company message on point. It took a while and it took some trial and error. But once I got that, absolutely, I got that message across, I got that branding across, it was sellout every single time. I could guarantee my sales for an event, which means I knew how much I needed to make. I knew how many products I needed to carry with me. I knew how much products to have in backup if it was a 2-day event, how much products to have in backup for the next day. And I could then gauge the interest that I was going to get. I could also choose which events to go to that were going to be profitable for me. And it made all the difference in my business. And pricing yourself, no retail company, and that's what we are. We have products that we sell to consumers. We are a retail business. No retail business could survive without paying their staff. No retail business. Can you imagine walking into Next and the staff stood there going, oh, well, we're here for free today and Next are going to get all the money for this? It would just never happen, not in a million years. And there are some amazing handmade companies that are now full corporations that have done well because they price themselves correctly from the start of their business. If you look at companies like I always say this one because I'm just amazed by their journey, but the Cambridge Satchel Company, if you look at companies like Lush, they're still making their products by hand. They have now taught other people how to make those products by hand, but these are still handmade products. They're just multi-billion-pound businesses. So when you look at journeys like that and you look at businesses like that and you think, okay, my business could never be that. Yes, it can. And it all comes down to pricing. Now, I don't know whether any of you have seen the website recently, but we've just released a pricing course. So if you want help with your pricing, drop me a message. I'll ping you over a link and I'll give you the details for the course. We also have a free pricing mastery PDF that you can have if you're right at the beginning and you're really new and you're not sure what to do. We've got the pricing and finance PDF. So again, DM me. I will send that over to you because it's something that I really hold dear. Pricing should be all of your costs, all of them from start to finish. So from you thinking of the idea all the way through to it ending up in your customer's hands, every single thing that you use to make and send that product is part of your costs. You add to that your actual labour and your hourly rate. I know a lot of people are not confident charging a skilled amount for their hourly rate, so at least start with living wage. Add that on. Then you've got to think of your overheads. So add a percentage on for like your rent, if you've got a workshop, or your electricity if you're at home, your broadband if you're at home. These are all things that you're using for your business. So add a percentage so that those can get paid. And then whatever that price comes to, that whole amount, if you add it all together, whatever that comes to, then even if you only charge 1 penny more, you're making a profit. And that is what it's about. It's about making that profit. So right from the beginning, make sure you know all of your costs, absolutely outline everything so you've got it all there and you know what those costs are going to be going forward. Also have a look at, if there's bulk discounts and stuff. If you're worried about the price of stuff, price your products based on the bulk discount so that if I get to this amount, and if I'm selling this amount, then I can start buying this bulk. If I start buying it bulk, it's at this price. And start looking at things like that because it will save you money in the long run and also make you more comfortable with the pricing structure as well. Once you are comfortable with your pricing and once you are, I'd say comfortable, because at the beginning everyone's not that happy with their pricing, and do your research, have a look at the marketplace, see whereabouts you sit in the marketplace. But once you've got your pricing, you've got your product, you know what you're doing, Then think about where your product's going to place itself in the entire market. So are you going to be a luxury item? Are you going to be a high street item? Are you going to be a budget item? Where do you place yourself in that market? And once you understand where you place yourself in the market, what your product is, what it does, what kind of supplies you have, whether they're eco-friendly or, you know, if they're sustainable, whatever they are, and you've got a full idea of what your offering is, then sort out your branding. That is the point, to sort out your branding. Not before, not right at the beginning, not when you're just thinking about, oh, maybe I could sell this. That's not the time to start out your branding. The time to start out your branding is when you know exactly what you're making, you know exactly what your model is for the business, you know exactly what your offering is, and you know who your customers are going to be. You know, if you're a luxury item, like if you look at the John Lewis style customers, if you look at the Phoenix style customers, what type of customer they're going to be, you know where you need to place yourself. You can look at other products that are similar to yours, that are being offered in places like that, and check what their branding's like. What are they offering? You know, a lot of products, if it's skincare, if it's natural skincare, they tend to be like greens and whites for clean and nature. You know, they tend to be light colours and bright colours. So you know that you need to be within that arena, but in your own style. If you're looking at, I mean, I noticed myself in the candle industry, there is a lot of black and white. That seems to be the theme. There's a lot of plain black and white. So it was a case of, okay, well, how can, if that's the style for the luxury industry, what do I need to differentiate myself from my competitors while still staying true to what customers expect in that arena? So that's the time to look at the branding. If you're a budget product, then look at the budget areas. You know, look at Asda, look at the, you know, the supermarkets, look at places where they're going to sell products like yours at that lower price, and put yourself into the competition. It's not about copying the competition, but it is about taking inspiration from the whole genre, from the whole marketplace, and going, okay, well, it seems to be everyone uses, you know, this sort of style. It's a clean cut style, or it's a warm style, or it's comfortable. You know, once you know what people are looking for when they're looking for your type of product, it's so much easier to brand your product. So wait until you know what you're offering, what your price point is, what your unique selling points are. Figure all them out before you figure out your branding. And then once you've got that, then it's about getting online. And I always suggest to everyone, get online as soon as possible. As soon as possible. If you are selling, you should be online. There are so many different websites now where you can set up a website for free. There's so many different places where you can set up a cheap website. And having an online store right from the beginning will save you so much hassle later on, because it's not just a place to display your products, but it's a place to actually gather customers. So when you're going face to face and you're talking to people at events, to be able to give them a card with your website, so you get that repeat custom, getting their email address so you can start sending them emails from your website. These are all techniques that you need to learn right at the beginning, because it costs a lot of money to get that first sale off someone. You have to advertise, you have to go pay for the events, you have to pay out for the stock, you've got all of this stuff to pay out. So it costs a lot for that first sale. But if that customer comes back to you time and time again, you're not paying for their business anymore. You are actually gaining business from them. And you're not having to pay out as much. You're not having to, you know, go to the events. You're not having to do all the advertising and marketing to drag them in, because they already know about you. They've already used your products, so they're already bought in. In some cases, they've already spoken to you, so they're happy with who you are. So at that point, that they start becoming a profit customer. So you need to do that right at the beginning. So you've got your idea, you've got your branding, you've got your website, and now you're out into the world. And start talking to people. You know, when I'm at markets, one of my pet peeves is when people are literally hiding behind their stock on their table, and they make themselves as small as possible behind their stock. And the whole point of you being there is to communicate with your customers, to let them know about you, to tell them about you. They might not buy in that moment, but they'll buy in the future if they know what you're about, what your products are about, why you're selling them. They can't, people don't tend to read flyers when they're walking through a market. They might read your homepage from your website, but they won't necessarily read a flyer. So you are your own flyer. Talk to them, tell them. People buy from people, and they want to know what you're about. Especially now, the marketplace has changed so dramatically. People want to know what companies are about. They want to know, whether you're sustainable. They want to know whether you do good, whether you work with charities. They want to know who you are, what your values are. And people are more aligned to buy if your values are aligned with theirs. And the only way they're going to know that is by communicating with you. So stand up, stand tall. It's nerve-wracking. Yeah, I'm sat here on this live talking to you, and you're probably sat there thinking, well, you're really confident. No, I've just had to have a dance party in the kitchen to get my energy up because I was a little bit nervous about coming on tonight. And every single event I ever went to for my craft fairs, I'd spend a couple of days before being a little bit nervous, to such a degree I used to have to book off the next day after the event so that I could just not talk to anyone for a whole day. So I could just sit on the sofa and be a slob, because I got myself so worked up before the event. I was a bundle of nervous energy by the time I got there. I was exhausted the day afterwards. So it's not necessarily about having the confidence, but it's about learning how to promote yourself and your business. And it's not going to be perfect the first time. It's not going to be perfect the 10th time. There's a chance it won't be perfect the 100th time. But the more you do it, the more you talk to people, the more you're getting your story out there, you're getting your product out there, you're getting your business out there. Because at this point, we are a business. We've got our product, we've got our branding, we've got our online store. Now we are a fully fledged business, and we need to shout it from the rooftops. And be proud about what you are doing. Don't start any sentence with, I just do this, I just do that. No, I am brilliant. My products are fantastic. This is amazing. I am so pleased. I am so happy. I am so grateful for being able to put this together and to be able to show this to you. Look at this. Isn't this great? If you like that, what about that? Ask them questions. Get that feedback, that face-to-face feedback from a customer, so that you can look at the development of your products later on. It's free feedback. Get it while you can. When you start looking at market research later on, that costs money. So standing in front of someone at a fair and saying, hey, what do you think? And getting that feedback is really important. Now, you are going to get people that go, I could get it cheaper somewhere else. Okay. Go and get it cheaper somewhere else. Don't start panicking about your costs because of that comment. You've worked out your pricing. You know what your pricing is. You know what your costs are. You know you're being paid. You know what your profit margin is. That's fine. There's a lot of things you can get cheaper somewhere else. I could go into Lidl and get a candle for a £5. Absolutely. But I was charging for the same size candle £25. Why? Because my candle was made by me. It was handmade by myself. It's not mass made. I've looked, I know where my suppliers get their suppliers from. I know where the core materials for my products are coming from. I've personally tested every single batch of candles to make sure that they're perfect. So you're not just paying for a candle, you're paying for my skill. You're paying for my time. You're paying for the fact that I've spent hours, days, weeks, years researching, learning, developing. That's what you're paying for. It's the same as if you go into John Lewis, you'll pay £40 for the same candle I'm selling for 25. So there's always an argument on either side, and it's about being confident enough to let it hit you, let it bounce off. Hit you and bounce off. Go, okay, I'm really sorry you feel like that. Thanks for taking the time to have a look. Do take a card though, and if you ever need anything in the future, give me a call. Style, grace, let them move on. Talk to another customer. Okay? but be confident in the fact that you've done your research, you've done your pricing, you've done all of the lessons that you need to do. Even if it's just 15 hours of sat watching YouTube, that's 15 hours that other person hasn't sat and watched YouTube to make that product. You've sat, you blood, sweat and tears, midnight craft sessions, you've done all of that. So when you're looking at turning that passion into profit, look at it all the way through. It's not just about selling it and getting the money back for cost. It's not just about kind of doing fairs and seeing how it goes. It's about making the mental decision to go from, okay, I make this and it's good, my family like it, I wonder if I can sell it, let's make it a business. It's going from, okay, let's do this, to, damn it, I'm going to do it. I can do it. I will do it. It's about going, world domination, let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. I know that it can be terrifying. And I know that the doubt, I still have days where the imposter syndrome kicks in and I'm like, who am I to be doing all of this? But on days like that, you need to be strong in the fact that you know that your crafts are amazing. Have a look back at the great feedback that you've had from people. I have a folder in my phone of all the screenshots from good reviews, from good text messages back from people that have done repeat orders and they've left a little note at the bottom of their order and I've screenshotted it. I have a folder full. So on days where I don't believe in myself, I can look back at the people that do believe in me. Going from passion to profit is not a massive jump. Going from passion to profit doesn't have to be scary. If you need any help, you need any support, join the group, drop in, join the group, come and have a chat with us all, ask the questions. It's a safe group, it's all private, so you can ask whatever questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I know I ask all the stupid questions, but there's no such thing as a stupid question. So ask anything, whether it's about how to find the right markets, whether it's about, how to price yourself correctly, how to know whether you're a luxury product or a high street product, all of that stuff, all those things that you have in your mind, come and ask in the group. I'll quite happily answer it. If you need any help and support, DM me and I will be here to cheerlead you all the way through to international sales. I really hope tonight has helped you and made you realise that it is one step at a time, but you can go from passion to profit. You can build a creative business yourself from home, part-time, and make it work. If I can do it, and I'm nothing special, but if I can do it, so can you. I will see you all next week. Good night, have fun, and speak to you soon.